So we'll start from the market. Obviously, lots of things have changed over the past week. Lots of speculation, hopes are high. But my question is, what does it mean for the space in the long term, right? What does Republican sweep mean for all of us here? Yeah, let's start from that. Lionel, maybe?
Yeah, sure. Hello, then. Yeah, sure. Happy to start. I guess with the rate sweep, one thing that we are expecting is like more regulatory clarity. And I think with this you'll come with like more crypto-friendly regulations in general, right? And we're seeing the signs of that. State pension funds are really like starting to invest in these crypto assets. And I think generally when one starts, people tend to follow suit. So we will see a lot more new assets being traded by these institutions and these big pension funds. So that is one thing. And with regulatory clarity, there will also be more incentives for people to experiment with more interesting token utilities, because I think a lot of people have been on the fence on a lot of these issues, not wanting a token to be considered a security. And I think with more clarity in this direction, generally you'll start seeing more use cases coming about.
Okay. Lauren?
Jack Toach. Hello.
Right on. Jeez.
Hello.
Yes.
I definitely agree. I think that this election kind of signifies a shift towards a much friendlier crypto landscape. There'll be more clear guidelines for builders in this space, which makes it easier for investors to make reasonable decisions when moving forward with investments. I think most notably our Senate banking chair, who is well known for being anti-crypto, lost his bid for re-election to somebody who is very pro-crypto. So that's in particular very exciting. I think this in particular will yield good results for DeFi, which has historically been kind of difficult for investors to invest into. It's a little bit scary for builders to build as well, just because there was a lot of regulatory risk. But I think, hence why we see DeFi prices in particular coming today.
Yeah, I think that it's obviously a positive. I will also say, I would say the space overall is getting very carried away with the things that people are gonna be able to do. People are calling for like deregulation and sort of this free-for-all that everyone's just gonna be able to do whatever they want. And I would kind of just like hamper those expectations and really just say that that there's gonna be positive change. There's gonna be less active coming after crypto projects that are trying to just do good and follow the law. But this idea that we're going to be in full-blown ICOs and all these other illegal transacting and stuff is not going to happen. That being said, what I am really looking forward to is I'm hopeful that U.S. citizens and people who reside in the U.S. will again be able to use on-chain apps. I'm tired of being geofenced.
Perfect. Yeah, so I resonate with all of the answers from the rest of the panelists. So I'll answer this in two different angles. One is, I think, for those of us that have been in crypto for a while, the question is not if, but when. And, after this election, and, I think we're going to really accelerate the timeline in terms of new use cases and just seeing more ways of actually, innovating within crypto and not just meme coins. But at the same time, I think markets move fast, and it's hard to build in a bear market, and to a certain extent, it's actually harder to build in a bull market. And people's attentions, all on tokens, market movements, and I think, we actually have to build more infrastructure, build more applications, build more use cases, and so in a bear market, really shake out the unbelievers. In a bull market, right, and it's hard to kind of focus. So yeah. if we're talking about long term, I don't think things have really moved. But yeah, short term wise, there's adjustments.
Yeah, well, it sounds like our panel is quite bullish, but people need to have ruthless prioritization. Interesting. Could you share top one problem space or protocol or topic that you're most excited about these days? Just one thing that makes you most excited.
Maybe I can start. Yeah, so I think the topic, the category that I'm most excited about is how blockchains are always been. So blockchains are application platforms, and rollup clusters are also application platforms. If you think about our space, Iris is Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin was the only kind of non-application platform. It might actually become one with Bitcoin L2s. Everything is application platform, and we're just innovating within this space. And I think we're not at the end game yet. There's a complete evolution of how these platforms are built, how we monetize applications on these platforms. And the crypto form factor means that applications actually get to interoperate, will build more of a network effects on these platforms without actually a bottleneck. And I think, yeah, very interested in looking at early stage projects as well. Look, like even, they're building right now at C stage, like we'll probably deploy 2-3 years down the line. That will actually put us on a nice level. Yeah, that's where I've been spending a lot of my time.
Okay.
Yeah, I will hop on the hype train of prediction markets and one of Dragonfly's portfolio companies, which is Polymarket. Even coming off the back of the election where, expectations or volumes are going to crater, they will, but they're not going to go to zero. And I'm quite excited to see just like new form factors and new ways to speculate on markets that you otherwise wouldn't be able to in the past. And just using prediction markets as a new source of information. And Polymarket being the first breakout application that you and your parents have probably heard about it is just so exciting for me. It's so exciting for the entire space to have something that people don't even realize run on crypto be a part of their daily content feed.
Sounds great.
I'm excited for anything that makes the end user experience better. I think abstraction obviously falls within that narrative, but there's many ways to kind of go about this. And so I'm also looking to fund early stage projects focused on this particular problem.
Okay.
For myself personally, I'm interested in the intersection of like AI and crypto. And yeah, I mean, this is a very hype space because seeing like people are jumping on the bandwagon here. But I would say, and maybe like not a lot of things need Web3 integration in it. Not a lot of AI projects actually need Web3 integration. But I would say that there are certain areas that are particularly suited for Web3, right? Like the areas of, let's say, like even data ownership, given that like most of the public data right now out there has already been scraped, right? So what next for building like this stronger expert models? And yeah, and I think Web3 is just a generally good way to incentivize the everyday consumer be in like decentralized training or decentralized inference.
Interesting. Okay, well, let's maybe hop on this crypto and AI train for a little bit because it's hypey and also very promising. So obviously, very powerful AIs are coming pretty soon. The question is crypto relevant to that? And what's crypto's world in this like agentic AI future where most of the economy is done by agents? So what's your take on that? Lionel, maybe we can start from you because, yeah, you're bullish on that.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, so maybe just following on so what I've mentioned, I think in the future, like right now in the AI space, like people are, like the big corporations are like training foundational models, right? And right now the competition is like to train bigger and bigger, more knowledgeable foundational models. But what I see going forward is more specialized models that are not going for knowledge, but going for more expert knowledge in respective areas, as well as the routing of queries to these various models, right? Yeah, so I think eventually, like this problem will be solved. Like people will know how to route the right query to the right model, and I think in doing so and allowing for more smaller models to actually come to the market, I think that is where crypto actually plays a part, because the everyday consumer has valuable data, right? Be it like your medical records, your health data, or just data in relation to like maybe your opinions, the opinions you have voiced on social media. These are all valuable data that the everyday consumer actually has and will be able to contribute to this open source model. Yeah, so that's one area that I see happening. And yeah, maybe just just to reference Sentient's work in this aspect, in which like they allow for like the OML format, which provides for the monetization of these models, right? So that is something like with the creation of these models, there needs to be a way to monetize from it. And like work is done in Web3 space to already allow for this.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot that crypto probably can't do for AI.
Yeah.
But there are specific use cases that I think are interesting, like the ones Lionel mentioned. I also think decentralized compute is, well, I think personally it's been a little bit overhyped. There are interesting unlocks that have happened, especially with like the specialized hardware that we have on our phones now. I think decentralized compute in like local settings could be very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a handful of use cases in crypto AI that make sense, and a lot that probably don't.
Yeah, I guess, just to add to the conversation that's already been held, 2 points I would like to make. The first is that I think the crypto community is just one of the most well-positioned crowds to get accustomed to crypto, to AI living in our, everyday lives, because we are so accustomed to a rapidly changing environment. And then number two, in a world with AI, blockchains will always be relevant because it's the only technology that doesn't discriminate against bots. And so, like, regardless of where AI goes on from here, like, blockchain will always play a big role in it.
So I think I agree with some of the points, most of it has been made, which is that, yes, decentralization could help AI. But I think, we're a little bit far from that. AI fundamentally is a capability-based tech, and we're still pushing on the capability frontier. So therefore, security and decentralization is something that is kind of not of the immediate concern if you talk to AI builders. I do think, on the data side, maybe like cross-sourcing data collection, could be a vertical that's interesting. But I think by and large, the most interesting intersection is not AI crypto, but AI and meme coins. and I think crypto as a go-to-market, crypto as a way to capitalize on tension, crypto as a way to build a community is why, it's interesting, right? We have a huge AI shift right now. There's a lot of promising tech happening, and the ways to interact, ways to like bond the communities together. But I think, and so the lesson learned for me is actually, maybe we shouldn't look at the space too fundamentally from a technology perspective, but look at crypto as a way to capitalize, to kind of bring a community around together around like an AI model, right? Around a new point community. And how does that play out? And I think this will continue to evolve. And it's very exciting, actually.
Okay. Have you bought some goat?
Yeah.
Yeah?
And I mean, other things.
That's great.
Let's go.
That's great. Cool. Well, what are the contrarian takes that you have on the market right now? Or what maybe are some things that other VCs are ignoring right now, in your view, that you believe in? So, anything you can share with the crowd? Wei, you have something to share?
I have the same exact answer. That's my contrarian take, which is that it's not AI crypto, it's AI meme coins. That's, I think that really is showing traction. And my contrarian take is if you really want to decentralize AI, you have to beat Web2 AI. And that is very hard. And if you're a crypto project, you want to outcompete ChatGPT and all the, company that raised over 100 million in the Y2 space on tech, on capability, and provides decentralization. I think that's an impossible task at the moment.
Interesting. Okay, let's check with the crowd how contrarian is that. Guys, if you are bullish on AI and meme coins, raise your hand. Anybody? Okay, quite a few. Interesting. Austin?
Yeah. Let's see. So I think by and large, as a space, there is a lot of negativity and nihilism around speculation as a use case. And I honestly think that we should embrace speculation. I think speculation has gotten crypto and by and large like us to where we are today. And it's going to get us to where we want to go in the future. And so I would say embrace speculation. Speculation is amazing. Speculation is like one of the core value propositions of crypto. And then I would also say, I guess like, when it comes to the app and infra funding debate, like, I don't know. I like maybe someone on this panel will disagree with me, but every VC is desperate to fund good apps. This notion that VCs are not funding applications is not because we don't want to. It's because of like the lack of applications that I think we see that can produce like a venture scale return. And so I would say like the app versus infra debate is way overblown in my opinion. And I guess segueing into your second question about what are VCs I guess overlooking. I actually think there's a lot of diversity between different venture firms, and that different VCs have different tastes, and you'll rarely see every big name in venture fighting over the same deal. There are cases of that, but like for the most part, it's actually quite amazing how different the perspectives of different firms and different parties have.
Interesting.
Yeah, actually, maybe to jump on to that point. So I know like there's a lot of attention on the app versus infra side. People are calling for more funding on the application side. But actually, I feel that in terms of like where a lot of the funding will go, a lot of the VCs will still choose to fund applications infrastructure going forward, right? It's just a safer bet for a lot of these VCs, given like the infra premium that already exists out there. And if you look at like crypto, talks of speculation, it's really an attention economy. And can these applications retain the attention of a crypto user across an entire bear cycle is something yet to be seen. And I think because of that, infrastructure generally tends to be a safer bet, and people will still continue funding a lot of infrastructure projects because of it.
I think we're stuck in a little bit of a loop. I mean, to your point, like venture capitalists see that the big outcomes come from infrastructure, and those projects get maybe like easier funding sometimes, or the amount that they get funded is very high. And therefore you see top builders kind of tending to gravitate more towards the infrastructure side. And it just kind of becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy.
Can I re-answer my question? I think my contrarian take will be we need more infrastructure and we need better infrastructure. And the reason is this, right? Go build an app that a billion users get on top of crypto rails. I challenge you to do that. You cannot build that on existing infrastructure. You can only build it off-chain, right? Changes is the only example. But if you want to build it on-chain, it doesn't work.
I think a great example of how everyone's complaining that there's too much infra, but something that has recently come into the meta is this idea of like AI agents transacting on chain. And this is such a great example of like people have been building the infrastructure that enables this for I don't know, years now. And then all of a sudden over the weekend, it just like comes into the meta. Now everybody is trying to do it, and you can actually do it. Like some things people talk about and it's not possible for years, but like all of a sudden everyone wants to have a pumped out fund for AI agents or build their own AI agent that can mint NFTs, that can do payments. And it's possible because of all the infrastructure funding and builders that have been working on it for a long time. Like they basically built the solution looking for problems, and it worked.
So, interesting. Well, to me, it sounds a little bit like discussion on the narrative versus fundamentals, which we recently had. So, question to the crowd: on this spectrum, what would you vote for? Who is for fundamentals? Raise your hand. Okay, quite a few. Wait, trading meme tokens, but like voting for fundamentals. That's funny. Who is for narratives? Okay, so like 50-50. Interesting. Okay. Question to you guys. Was there a case when you were considering an investment and you passed on that, but later on it proved to be successful? What did you learn from that? Could you share?
I guess I could start. I've been doing this, I've been with Pantera for 7 years. And so there's quite a lot of deals that I've passed on that have, I've regretted. I think it happens in every VC's career if you stay in this long enough. And what I've learned, I think things change in crypto so quickly. In venture capital, but definitely in crypto specifically, outcomes shift all the time. And if you stay in this space long enough, you'll see good outcomes that you thought were going to eventually become bad, or outcomes that you thought were bad ended up being pretty good. One example of this is when I was really junior, I sourced this deal called Alameda Exchange at seed, and I brought it to the team, and we ultimately passed for regulatory concerns. And Alameda Exchange eventually became FTX, and I felt really terrible about that for a very long time. And then, I think things shifted, and we all know how that ended up. But there's been the opposite that has happened as well. But what I've learned over the years is that to be successful as an investor, it's a mix of things. You need to have a really good network. You need to be willing to iterate on your learnings. So basically continuing to hone your deal picker. You need to be somebody that people want to work with, whether that's for your personality or for your brand. Either way, seeing VCs do different things. And finally, it's luck. So yeah, I guess that's my takeaway.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, we just to share one project. How many of you heard of Baton Finance? Know what? Okay, yeah, that was the deal I sourced early on, and the team was basically building an NFT liquidity platform, which now is public fund, right? Yeah, so I sourced it at sub 10M. They were raising around that valuation, and yeah. But yeah, when they were pitching, very impressive founders, hustling hard. Yeah, but the idea was not right back then. I think what perhaps not enough weight was placed into like how strong they were in terms of shipping, as well as perhaps I guess going forward, like one thing that I tend to take a look for in founders is like their nimbleness, right? Their ability to understand the market and just the ability to change directions when required.
Yeah, I think an example of this that many VCs, Dragonfly included, missed was Eigenlayer when it was first making its rounds. When Shiram was pitching Eigenlayer at seed round, the vision was not as clear as it is today, and maybe today it's not as clear as it was 6 months ago. But like at seed, it was the pitch was almost like a little goofy. Like it wasn't very clear like how this was going to turn into a multi-billion-dollar protocol. And I think like the takeaway from that is at seed, like you just got to bet on a great founder, even if the vision isn't super clear at that time. Like it's at seed, you're basically funding them to find out. You're not funding them to have all of your questions answered.
I think I resonate with Lauren's answer that, like this industry, it requires a long time, right, to actually get this feedback. And unfortunately, I actually haven't been an investor for that long for this to really shake out. So I don't really know at the current moment, if there's things I will really, really regret passing on. And I think a lesson also for me is prioritization. I think, this is why, funds have multiple partners and an investment team is usually pretty large so that you can cover more verticals. And for me, it's a lot of times more like directionally, are we looking at the right set of markets? And like, are we spending the time in places that matter? And that's oftentimes, I think there's markets that will want to spend more time on looking back, right, for example, and spend less time in others that actually, might not matter, relatively speaking. So, because we cannot, really look at everything, right, and time's limited. And, as we make investments, there's more time taken off the table because there's a lot of responsibilities, some portfolio supports, and so, I think prioritization, so sometimes it might be okay passing on deal if that means that the rest of the deals you're going to work out better to the point.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. Final question. Share one word to describe your expectation from 2025. Lionel, maybe from you.
Maybe I'll have two words. Cautiously optimistic.
Unbounded.
Okay.
Accelerate.
Build.
Great. Thank you so much. Let's thank our amazing panelists for that.